My name is Brian Knight. My email address is on the screen now. It's bknight@pragmaticworks.com. And today's session is all about creating actionable business intelligence. This session is being recorded by Liz, and it will be posted later today. And this session is a piece of the class that we offer called Power BI class. It's a virtual class. It's also a workshop that we do around the country as well. So if this stuff interests you, if the day's over, then you may want to consider taking that class. Now, today's session is all about creating actionable BI, which in this case is going to, Liz, can you hear me okay? Looks like I'm transmitting okay now.
Yep, I can hear you fine now.
You can't hear us. So the session is all about, okay, gotcha. It's creating about actionable BI, which in our case means we're oftentimes focused on just creating analytics for analytics' sake. Well, this is about creating analytics that your users can actually make some kind of actionable item on. So let's begin with, and Power Query is one of those perfect answers for that. My Twitter handle is at Brian Knight. I will go ahead and open up that real quick. So if you have any questions, you can ask them in my Twitter handle, or you can also ask them in the question panel. Now, I'll be taking questions throughout the session. I'll be kind of keeping half an eye on Twitter as well as on my session here. My email address is also bknight@pragmaticworks. I'm a SQL Server MVP out of Jacksonville, Florida, and the founder of Pragmatic Works. I've authored a number of SQL Server books, some of which have been published. And I blog at a website called bidn.com. So today's session, you can actually participate at home as well. Everything I'm going to show is stuff that already exists inside of Excel 2010 or 2013. So if you have 2013 or 2010, you can download these plugins at either powerpivot.com, or you can go to the tiny URL you see on the screen right now, and those will kind of link you over to how to download these plugins. Or you can just Google or Bing Power Query download, and you'll find it there as well. So how this fits together? How does Power Query fit in the whole map here? Well, as you can see, Power Query is one of the first tools that is in the new Power BI stack. The Power BI stack, of course, is Microsoft's answer to self-service analytics. And Power Query is an option that your end users will have instead of using things like SSIS. As you know, SSIS is definitely not going to be a tool for your end users. It's Visual Studio. It's very intimidating to some end users. This is going to be a tool for those power users, those Power BI users that want to extract data out. They want to transform it somehow, and they may want to load it somewhere else. So, especially with dirty data, there's some things that Power Query can do that even SSIS cannot do. Now, and there's some ways you can actually interface SSIS with Power Query. So Power Query's job is to extract the data out and load it into places like Power Pivot. After it's in Power Pivot, we can do things like view it inside of Power Map or our Power View. We can also look at it online with our mobile BI sites as well. So lots of good stuff we can do around that. Now, today's session is going to focus on discovering the data, how we combine it with other data sources, and then refine it and transform it. So when we import data, we can import it from any number of data sources, whether it be flat files or a relational data source. We can also bring it from places like Active Directory if you're a DBA out there. I'm sure we have several hundred people out there right now, and probably a fair amount of those people are DBAs. So if you want to find out what permissions people have, this is a great way of doing it. You can get data from things like Facebook or your inbox like Exchange. They also have data sources like SAP, XML, and soon you're going to see data sources like Salesforce.com and QuickBooks, which they showed demos of that in the last conference they had, the World Partner Conference. So really neat stuff you can get data from. After we have that data, we can refresh it on a periodic basis also. That refreshing can be done statically through going through and hitting the refresh button inside of Excel. It can also be done through some API calls, or it can be done automatically through the Power BI websites. Now, Power BI is going to be, BI websites are available through Microsoft, through the cloud offering, and it is a whole big offering outside of just Power Query. All right. Now, once we have the data, we're going to want to transform it somehow. We're going to want to fix it somehow. So Power Query has a whole slew of transforms that are available to you, some of which are things like you're capitalizing each first letter of each word, and maybe you want to clean out all the unprintable values or remove duplicates. You may want to pivot the data or unpivot the data. There's lots of good stuff you can do inside this. All the common things you do inside of SSIS can be done inside of Power Query, the transforms, except much simpler. All right, one of the neat things you can do also is if I'm bringing data from, like let's say, SQL Server over, and it recognizes there's a foreign key, and I'm looking at an employee ID, for a transaction, we can actually navigate through and merge those tables together by hitting the icon you're seeing with the arrow pointing to it right now. That will actually join the tables together and show you one view on that data. Lastly, there's a load of a whole new formula language called M like Microsoft. And this language is going to allow you to have a lot tighter control. It's a workflow-based engine language. And with that, you can do a lot of advanced things. So you're probably an M developer if you think you want parameterization or you want to deal with trapping errors a certain way or manipulating dates. There's going to be a whole slew of reasons that you might use that coding language. But M is a very, very nice, robust language. It looks very unusual at first. It's not like any language I've seen before, but it is definitely a language that will be used in this session to kind of get you going here. So I'm actually going to open up a quick slide real quick, or a quick example real quick, just to kind of get us going. There we go. All right. Okay. So enough slides. That'll be my last slide for the day. And now I'm going to focus on how we actually use this to create an actionable intelligence. So my goal in this session is I want to open up a donut shop. And I want to open up a donut shop somewhere in my town of Orange Park, Florida. So what I want to do is I want to first of all find out where I'm going to build this store at and where my competitors are at. And I want to draw some maps on it and show ultimately where the best place to locate is going to be. So that's our goal in this demo. And after we do that, we'll do some more adventurous things, some more fun examples also. So let me open up a quick web page. And here we go. Let me just kind of go over here and let's look at Yelp real quick. All right. All right, so we're looking at Orange Park, Florida here, which is where I live. And I want to look at, how about we look at donut stores. Okay. Okay. All right, so for donut stores in the Orange Park area, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing some areas around the Orange Park area, some delis and some crystals and all that. If I were to click on the word donut here, we'll actually narrow it down. So this is actually really interesting data that as a business owner I can use to figure out where the best location for my new store is going to be. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's not very consumable, right? So it's a store like Subway or McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts can't really consume this data, but it'd be really nice to know where are there poorly rated stores at that I can put my store near to potentially, give them the rub a little bit, kind of give them a little pressure and make them better and make me better.